Dr. Erica with Rosie Research, and this month we are looking at our mission to Mars as our family lab activity. And it just so happens that I'm also doing a lot of Mars stuff for our astronomy club that's on our island. This month we're doing remote control Mars, where we have little rovers, and they're going to program their rovers through an obstacle course in a similar way that NASA engineers have to do now. And so I thought one thing that would be really fun to add to this is in our labs, you guys are going to be making rocket ships and working on testing the height or the distance. And what about once we get to Mars? How do we land on Mars? And what are we going to do for that? If we want to land a rover or people, who are even more important than a rover, how are we going to do that? Because we can't just drop it from the atmosphere onto the ground. We'd be obliterated new Martian dust. So one of the fun experiments that we designed that you guys can do at home is sort of an age-old experiment that a lot of people do in middle school, which is our egg drop. Now, you can drop these off of, sort of the roof of a two-story building or off of a balcony, which is really fun. And the idea is that everybody has an egg, and you can engineer anything you want to make this egg survive the fall without breaking. I remember in 6th grade, I used a peanut butter jar filled with peanut butter, and I just sort of stuffed the egg in there. And it actually worked really well. The peanut butter absorbed the shock pretty well. But if it doesn't absorb the shock, you have now a broken egg. And I don't know about you, but I don't want a whole lot of broken eggs on my driveway because my kids love to do things over and over and over again. And I also am going to have a ton of kids at Astronomy Club, and I don't want to buy 5 dozen eggs and have to clean them up afterwards on the outside in our parking lot when we have this sort of like goop of eggs. So I have a new plan for that, and you can do this too. They're about $4 online, and I'll post the links on where you can get them. But I just got some drop and tell indicators. Now there's different levels of these drop and tell indicators. I got some of the top 3, which are 25 Gs, 50 Gs, and 100 Gs. So the idea is if they land and it triggers the 100 G indicator, it means that they're basically Martian dust. They did not survive their fall, and they can't communicate. Everybody's dead, the rover is dead, all of that kind of jazz. If they can survive the 50 G fall, then that means that they landed and people are safe, but your electronics are not working. So maybe you can't communicate super well with NASA astronauts. Maybe it means that you aren't able to do your scientific experiments that you want to do. And then I have the 25G indicator, which is the industry standard when we ship electronics. If you buy some fancy electronics, you'll probably have some of these on your box. Now, these only work in one direction, and it works in the direction of the arrows. So if I hit it this direction, up and down, the way the arrows are going up and down, you'll notice that one of them has now turned red, which is the side I hit. And then if I flip it over, I can hit the other side, and it will both turn black. Now, I got the resettable kind, which is really nice because we're going to have a lot of kids using these. And to reset them, you just need either like an eyeglass screwdriver or a paper clip, and you just put it into a hole, and it goes back to being red, which is perfect. Now, we have to make sure they drop up and down, because if they drop this way, I can hit it as hard as I want to going this direction, and it doesn't indicate in that direction. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them into a plastic egg. And they just so happen that they fit pretty nicely going up and down inside of a plastic egg. And what we'll do then is the kids can either put stuff inside the plastic egg to try to help muffle that vibration, or they can put stuff outside the plastic egg, or they can do both. They could put a parachute on the egg if they wanted. They could put springs or bubble wrap. Who knows what's going to work really well? And then you have to drop the egg sort of going up and down. So I'm going to have a little hole that the egg sort of drops through to make sure that it works for them. And this is just sort of a fun, easy way to do this. I think we'll probably think up a lot of fun things to do with these drop and tell indicators because they're a lot of fun to play with. And they're pretty cheap, they're resettable. Everything's sort of all great with them. So this is one of the activities that we'll be having as an add-on activity to our Mission to Mars program that we're going to be releasing in a few days. And if you happen to be on Bainbridge and you'll be able to make it to our astronomy club, we would love to see you there. We'll have these for all of the kids, along with a whole bunch of smart 6.0 recon rovers for them to program. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you have a lot of fun with this lab. Make sure to follow us on social media with Facebook or Instagram, and we also have a website that has tons of free afternoon activities as well as all of our past labs that you can find for us. Hope you have a great afternoon and enjoy the rest of your day.